Hello, EctoSage here on the Sage channel, the EctoSage channel, my secondary Fun Times channel. And this is a bit of a different spot for this, but, well, this is the few things that bugged me about Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. And I'm currently recording this laying in bed with a sweet puppy dog. Yes, indeed. But anyway, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi recently came out, and I found it to be a, well, extremely enjoyable movie. But I'm, well, by nature, a fairly negative person, so I figured let's think of a few things that were negative that honestly don't bug me. So, take that as, something to keep in mind, considering I am usually quite negative. Also enjoy Puppy Dog. Completely in the middle of this. Yum yums. Num nums. Anyway, the first thing, obviously spoilers, so look out. Here comes the spoilers. In Star Wars Episode 8, they're running away from the Empire, more exactly, the New Order. Oh, dearie me, oh my. And for some reason, the Star Destroyers cannot keep up with them. Well, of course, they're in space, which means, well, the only way they couldn't keep up with them would be if their acceleration was not as great as the other ones. So that's a bit unfortunate, the idea that they cannot accelerate as quickly as them, but I'm kind of alright with it. The second problem is, why don't they jump away and then jump back and block them off? I actually think this would have been a fantastic thing in the film if the Star Destroyers, at least a few of them, had jumped away and then jumped back to block the rebels, or pardon me, the Resistance escape. That would have been pretty cool, the idea of them constantly having to change directions to keep trying to run away. Maybe even have the Resistance have more than just 3 ships, but have like 5 or 6 or even 8 of them and be like, how do they keep following us? Okay, we figured that out. Now they just keep jumping away and jumping in front of us, so we have to keep turning directions. And every time that happens, they take a bit more damage or they lose another ship or something like that. I think that would have been fairly awesome, actually, if that had happened. Well, you feeling like getting up? You wonder why your daddy's sitting here talking? Yeah. Well, your daddy wanted to talk about something while he wanted to do something while hanging out with you, bud. That's all. Anyway, my next gripe. Pretty minor still. Like I said, there's not really much in that film that truly bothered me, but it was the fact that Snoke bites the dust. That's right, Snoke, your big bad guy, ends up being annihilated pretty quickly in this new trilogy. It's rather unfortunate, really, but at the same time, I think it was an absolutely great battle. Yes, they do not exactly fight Snoke directly, but if you look at the scene before it, when he's toying with everybody, I was actually thinking, oh my god, how does anyone on Earth ever defeat this guy? I mean, how can anyone defeat him? So when Kylo, or Ben, whichever way you wish to call him, goes ahead and figures out the trick of, well, I'll go ahead and turn my lightsaber as I'm turning the other one, and going to strike my enemy down, and he thinks it's Rey, and suddenly it's him. Well, I think that was all a bit of just brilliant writing, actually, and I absolutely loved it. Particularly the fact the lightsaber goes through him, he goes, like, what have you done this? Why did you do this? And then he pulls a lightsaber through him and cuts him completely in half. Also, if you watch that scene, he took out a few of his hands, too, which, cut off at least one of his hands as well, which I thought was pretty fantastic, actually. Very, very cool. Other things are that people might be considering nuisances that I don't mind, actually, but I could see them getting on somebody's nerves. The entire attempt to go ahead and, deactivate the tracking device, going to the casino planet, that entire thing. Pointless, right? But it was an interesting story. In Episode 7, when they introduced the Starkiller base and destroy the entire New Republic within 30 seconds of them actually being introduced, and also not even telling you what planet just blew up, that is bad writing. Because that undoes everything that was done in Star Wars Episodes 4, 5, and 6. In that second, it pretty much undoes all of the main efforts against the Empire. This, it's their efforts being defeated, them failing in the same movie they began. And also, of course, you get an introduction of new characters, and you get to see a lot of cool stuff at the same time, which is something you definitely didn't get in Star Wars Episode 7. And let's not forget, the lighting in this film, absolutely awesome in comparison to Star Wars Episode 7. Same with new vehicles, creatures, and everything else. This film felt like Star Wars. Episode 7, J.J. or Jar Jar Abrams film, as I like to call him because he infuriates me so. Well, that film felt like a fan film. You had the same old stuff you've seen before, just with a new coat of paint. This had modified, really different AT-ATs, AT-STs, completely new Rebel ships, and of course some very awesome interiors and new stuff for the Empire as well. And then of course all that civilian stuff. Anyway, my biggest gripe that I could really see is just the Rebels somehow being able to outrun them just slowly. Bit silly, bit cheeseball, but gosh darn it, I was alright with it. Yeah. My only other complaint would just be that, really? We have to get another resistance started down? Because let's not forget, you had the, what was it? No, I keep wanting to say Solarians, the people with the blue dreadlocks. They started their resistance kind of against the Separatists, then moved on to resisting the Empire, and now I guess they're just on their own again, because they never really joined the New Republic, I believe. So that's the first real resistance force was them, followed by the actual Rebel Alliance that became the New Republic. And then let's not forget, what, you tired of me talking? And then let's not forget the Resistance that Princess Leia starts. If you don't know, you have to read a lot of books to figure this out. But the Resistance is started by Princess Leia after she realizes that the New Republic is failing to keep things as safe as she would like, failing to make progress, and failing to find any sense of unity while keeping the individual planets individual. There's the centrists, and there's the populists, and those are the two factions in the New Republic, and they end up butting heads an awful lot. An awful lot, to the point where nothing gets done. So she realizes that the New Republic's probably going to fail, so she starts a resistance. So that's 4 different factions. Let's take that one out since that was the New Republic, that the Rebel Alliance that just turned into it. So that's 3 different ones. And then, of course, at the end of this movie, they're basically saying, hey, look, the resistance is dead. So that means a new group is going to have to be inspired by our actions here, as you see the kids playing with telling this story of that final battle, which, oh my god, was it cool! I am very disappointed that Luke actually dies after it, even though he goes sort of Force ghosty maybe, he just vanishes. I'm still very disappointed he died, actually, because, I mean, it's Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, and boy, oh boy, can he act, and is he dang entertaining to watch. Anyway, it just means, no kisses. No, oh, you want scratches. It just means that, unfortunately, a new resistance is going to have to start. So that means 4 times in these series of, 60-odd years in the Star Wars universe, that a new resistance group is going to have to be formed pretty much to fight the same threat. Which is a little bit sad. Part's been edited in. I also kind of forgot there was the warp drive doomsday thing, which kind of breaks Star Wars. Episode 7, Starkiller Base completely breaks Star Wars. We got FTL weapons that can just punch out like 20 different planets at once, WTF. But this breaks it to a much lesser extent, which is why this part's edited in, because Sage forgot it, and also got distracted by a snuggly pup. But anyway, the warp drive, when Mrs. Pink Hair's all like, ba-ba-da-ba, which also why the hell didn't she just tell everybody the plan in the first place instead of making people grump? Anyway, whenever she did her warp drive through the enemy ship, yeah, if doing that does that much damage, why didn't you just send like 20 of those ships after the Death Star? Anyway, guys, that is that. I just wanted to share my thoughts on that movie. I absolutely highly suggest going out and seeing Star Wars Episode 8. Look at that guy. You like his scratches, don't you, lad? With his beautiful little puppy teeth. Oh, hello. Yeah, I got a camera on you. I got a camera right here, bud. You see a camera? Yeah. Anyway, I highly suggest going out and seeing Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. It's a great film. If you somehow watched this without seeing it, I'm sorry I spoiled so much for you, but, well, don't worry. There's a lot of positive things I haven't spoiled, and a lot of absolutely fantastic sights to see in that film, which I highly suggest you go see. Anyway, that is that. Thanks so much for watching, and I shall see you all next time. From a bed, or a desk, or God knows what else will come out on this channel. Who knows? But that's all. Ta-ta. Bye.